Hey everybody, it's Val from Autistic Interpretations. It's time for another Q&A. In today's Q&A, I'm going to answer my own question. Is the effort worth it? So the effort I'm referring to is the effort that goes into going places. For example, going on a trip. I almost never look forward to trips, regardless of what trip it is. I have a lot of travel anxiety. I have dread. I dread packing. I dread packing a pack for me, a pack for Jessica. I dread coming back to the unpacking, catching up on laundry. Those are kind of little things. More of the thing that I dread is bumps in the road, things along the way, the difficult moments that add up. It's the compounding of things that lead me to asking myself frequently, is it worth it? Why do I keep doing this? I'll give you some examples. We just got back from a trip. I dreaded going on this trip. Just really wasn't looking forward to the trip. But it's an annual tradition, family tradition. And I want to be there. I just dreaded so much of the getting there process. And part of that lies in the fact that we were approaching it in a new way this year. Instead of camping or staying in one of our usual cabins, we were going to stay somewhere different. And so, last minute unpacking, loading, and we get on the road and the travel goes fine. But then it's just like this series of things happens. The air conditioning in the house we rented wasn't working. I got into a massive mosquito swarm, and not only did a bunch of them get on me and bite me all of a sudden, when I smacked them, it just smeared blood everywhere, on my arms and my hands and my legs. It was really disgusting. Had to leave there to go get some Benadryl, go to the store and get some bug spray. So we had to go buy some bug spray. In the midst of all that, drove through I made a sharp turn and my back tire kind of hit in a dip in the road, scraped, and so I was paranoid that I had torn up my van the rest of the trip. The air conditioning being broken at the house was not tolerable. This house wasn't in the shade. There was a lot of asphalt around it. And at 8:30, it was 80 inside. And, if we were camping, it'd be different. Camping, you're sitting outside. You are in shade. There's a breeze. There's movement. And you planned for it. We planned for a house with air conditioning, and it didn't work. So I had to be on the phone with Airbnb, with the host of the house, and come to a resolution about getting my money back. And so we loaded the stuff back up into the car, went to a hotel, and stayed at the hotel instead of staying at this house. The first morning after we woke up, Jessica started her monthly cycle. That's what she woke up talking about. She manages most of that on her own, but not all of it on her own. And so that's something I help with. And when that happens, when we're on trips, it's just not fun. I mean, that's just the bottom line is it's not fun. It's not something I enjoy dealing with. She doesn't enjoy dealing with it either. And so it's that's the moment where I say to myself, okay, why am I doing this? I want to go home. But I don't say that out loud in the moment. I just process it. And, there were other things that came up along the way on the trip that just kind of kept this cycle of little bumps and trips and stuff along the way. But the reason we do it, the reason I do it, is because if I start giving in, I'll never go anywhere. I will never do anything. I'm so happy here in my space, in my room, and I'm comfortable, and I don't know. It's easy to be here, stay here, but Jessica loves to be on the go. And I do enjoy doing stuff and going places. A lot of times people will ask what I do for self-care. What do I do for self-care? What I want to do and fight the urge to do is just hibernate, stay in my spot, in here in my room. That's what I want to do. That's my self-care in a way, because it's my comfort zone and it makes me feel calm, safe, secure, and low stress. But in reality, that's not the healthy thing to do to care for myself. I don't need to just be in this room and just be comfortable here and get in a routine of that being okay. So I push myself to do stuff and go places because that's how I care for myself. That's how I stay in touch with the outside world. Just enjoy traditions, enjoy new things, have a good time. There will always be a trade-off because it's either extra work because we're all together, which includes Jessica, and she requires care, or I go by myself and it's easier, but I have guilt, which is okay. I think a mother's guilt is just something that is innate for a lot of us, and no matter how I approach it, how much care is lined up, and how deserved it is that I go do things, guilt is just part of the equation. And I do sometimes go by myself. It's been a while since I did that, but it's good for me. I always look forward to coming back home. And I always think while I'm gone, I'm going to be real productive and write or video and edit or something. And then I end up just sitting. I often will just sit when I go somewhere by myself, but that's okay. The point to this video is this. Is it worth it? All the extra, all the stress, the anxiety, like travel anxiety, is it worth it? Is all of it worth it to go places? Yes, it is. I might question it along the way, but it is worth it because it's good for me. A while back, years ago, I started an Instagram page called Do Stuff, Go Places. And really, from the very beginning, my point in that whole concept is that it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to do stuff and go places. It's hard for me, and I think it's hard for a lot of people. I have lived with depression for a long time. I've lived with anxiety for a long time. I have been living with a autoimmune syndrome knowingly. I found out about it 5 years ago. And so for me to successfully do stuff and go places is a big deal. It's a celebration, and that's what that page is about. That page, Do Stuff, Go Places, is about a celebration of the things that I see and enjoy and like about doing stuff and going places. I like to share some of that stuff. It's a victory. It's always a victory. I hope to hear from some of you who understand what I'm trying to say, because I feel like I'm not saying it very well. It's kind of hard to describe it's just a hard thing to describe. But I think, I feel like there must be a lot of people out there who feel what I mean when I talk about it being a challenge to do stuff and go places. It's a challenge to make myself, I can't tell you how many times I've made plans and I back out because it is so difficult to follow through with getting out, getting ready to go somewhere. I think when life is so challenging at home, I think that it's hard sometimes when we go out and we're just in typical places doing typical things around typical people who don't share the struggles that we share at home. I don't feel like I relate very well to people. I feel like I have this weird perspective on the world that separates me and makes me not blend in. And so home is a safe space, and it's hard to leave your safe space. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. I would love to hear from any of you who also struggle with leaving your safe space, even if it's in your best interest, even if you're trying to care for the caregiver and get out and do stuff and go places. for your own mental health and well-being. I think it would help me to understand or to know that other people are out there feeling what I feel when I'm talking about that. So anyway, I feel like I've been rambling. I hope it makes sense. Let me know what you think. What about you? Do you feel like it's worth it in the long run when you have all these bumps along the way and you're leaving your safe space and then you run into all these struggles and you're really looking forward to getting back home? Is it worth it anyway? Thanks for watching. If you don't know about our channel, I am mother to Jessica, Hannah, and Madison. Jessica's my oldest. She just had a birthday. She turned 35. She's autistic and blind. She has multiple disabilities. Our channel's about sharing our life with her. She lives with us and will always be with family. Most of the time we share a joyful life. We have hard times. We have fun times. We have joyful times. It all rolls in together and we share a joyful life.